Morning. We'll talk about a little incident that happened with a forklift that actually resulted in an employee being struck in the back. You know, without going into too many details, we're going to go into prevention. How can we assure ourselves this won't happen? And it's been brought up before, sure to be brought up again, but it needs to be dealt with. There's only one way that you can absolutely be sure that no one's in front of your forks when you have a big load, and that's to get somebody in front of your forks to look for you. Because at the moment you get back in the seat when nobody was there, it's quite possible that somebody's there. You can put the forklift in reverse and travel in reverse. Now I've got an alarm going off for me, and now I've got a clear sight, a clear line of vision, and I know that I'm not going to strike anyone or anything. This is important, fellas. This is a lesson to us. This was a minor injury that could have been a death. So, just that quickly, and we talked yesterday about, I had the VERT team members in their reaction time. How long does it take what I see to transition through my brain and the thought process get down to my foot, and my foot go from that accelerator to that brake? Reaction time means a lot. Then the next thing you got to think about is how much of a load do I have, and how fast was I going, and where's the load going to go when I slam on the brakes? It's not worth having to put that much thought into what we're doing. It's easier just to slow it down, put somebody in front of us, know that we've got a clear path, travel at a safe speed, travel at reverse, do what we need to do to make sure that we don't strike anyone, or more importantly, we don't strike anything. Everybody's got that? So when something happens, and I'm not saying it will, and I'm certainly saying it should not, we need to have a logical explanation. A logical explanation is not going to be I forgot. A logical explanation is not going to be I didn't have time. So when it happens, we need to be able to say why it happened. And if it happened because of a thought process that went awry, we need to start looking at doing something, fellas. We can't roll over people over here with equipment. So watch what we're doing. We know how to do it. Sometimes things get rushed if you let them get rushed. Sometimes the pace gets picked up because it needs to be, but if we got the right people in place and we planned it before we do it, follow the plan and don't compromise, and all of these things that we call policies, procedures, safe practices, keep us from having an adverse effect in what we do. Understood? Appreciate it, fellas. We'll move on. That's what we do. That's correct. Let's move on. We're doing a lot of work over here, and 99.9% of what we do, we're doing flawlessly. But every once in a while, something catches us, and that's a good enough reason to reinforce. We did pull some bottle racks off the yard, a total of 3. One of them still in service in the shop, but today we'll try and get the bottles out of it to build 3 new bottle racks because of the shape they were in, because it wasn't really a good design, and it's just some equipment that's probably been around here forever that needs to be upgraded. So we continue to look at issues and try and better our lives over here, make something that's easier to deal with, something that's safer to use, something that's easier to transport. So continue to let us know the things that have gaps and the things that need to be tended to. The big problem with these racks is the standard says that we have to separate with a material that's fireproof the 2 bottles, and those 3 racks did not have the separation of the plate in between them. So you'll see some new racks here shortly. Beyond that, barge work, foggy in the morning, slippery. Everything you get on and off of is going to be a little bit of a challenge. So take your time doing it, measure what you're doing, think about what you're doing before you get started doing it. Both barges have handrails along the bulkhead. Make sure that when you are next to the machines, filling the machines, doing what we need to do, that even though you know they've got rails over there, that you're careful. Certainly when you're working around the other side, near the edges, have your life jacket on. Our barge program will go into the safety management system before the middle of next month ends. So at some point or another, management will look at it in a meeting in there, and it doesn't change a lot of things, fellas. If we have any questions about how to do things, we had some confusion with the lights the other night. How many lights belong on the barges? 1 barge, 2 lights. 2 barges, 2 lights. 3 barges, 2 lights. That's what the standard says. Forwardmost barge, a light on the outermost side near the bow, and as you continue to bring barges in, you go to the stern of the barge with a light. The standard actually says if it's a well-illuminated area, you don't need to worry about lights. We're going to continue to put lights. I can't define well-illuminated. I would say that's not us before I would say it is. So if you hit a situation where you don't know, ask and we'll get the answer to you. But let's make sure we're doing everything the way that we've been taught to do it. If we hadn't been taught or we forgot, let's ask before we proceed. What y'all got, fellas?
I got some bag press over there, did a good job. Eliminate the hazard as it's coming down. All that was being moved, thrown away, put to the side. Everything cleared out over there, so they ain't gonna worry about that building anymore.
Good job over here. Everybody noticed the little building's gone. We're taking care of quite a few things, fellas, because we'll probably be swamped here in another month. So again, items that you think need some attention right now is probably the time and for the next few weeks for us to get on them. Go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I know it's a little tense, we ain't really working a lot of hours and all that. We all work together, both sides of the yard and all that. Just be nice to the other person as nice as they ought to do, that's all I got to say.
Treat people like you want to be treated. That's a pretty good little rule, you know? And I try to follow it, you know?
I think I'm a pretty nice guy, so.
I think you're a pretty nice guy too, Eddie. Who else? You know, we talk about attitude, and that's part of it, man. And not everybody's having a great day. Can't make you have one when you come through the gate. Can't make any kind of magic work. But you got to come through the gate understanding that we're here to do some work. And in the work that we're doing, if we're not totally focused on what we're doing, we got a big problem. We got a big problem. Talking about reaction time yesterday, and I'm looking at Bubba, a machine. If you're dealing with a machine that's turning, there is actually a way to formulate reaction time. You're dealing with a lathe or something like that, a drill press, and that formula works with the RPM that it's turning. 1 second's not fast enough to get to that switch. It's on you know. So there's a lot of things that we deal with over here, and we talked about emergencies yesterday, and the only way to get yourself through an emergency is to plan for it. The only way to get yourself through your day without hurting yourself is to plan what you're getting ready to do. So, we're doing a good job of it. Make sure we continue to do it.
Hey, Brad,
Small cherry picker. Operators on the small cherry picker. That's a good one. Operators on any piece of equipment. The small cherry picker, there's only a few, less than a handful of guys that should be getting in that thing. So don't jump in it and operate it. If you do jump in it and operate it, you're operating without proper authority of the organization and you're breaking the rules. If there's a need to train someone, and what we're trying to do, we're trying to lessen the amount of operators, fellas, only because we don't have that much equipment. So per area, we want to have enough operators, but I don't know that we need 80 forklift operators. I don't know that we do. Maybe I can be convinced that we do, but you know. So what happens is, and I've talked about it, if you're an infrequent operator, I'm not going to say you're a bad operator, but if I'm hooking up, I'd rather have the guy that's been operating pretty much every day. I'd rather have the guy that's been in the seat. We used to have a problem offshore with boat captains that stayed offshore for 3 or 4 months and then come in and get in their car and run their car off the road because they've been dealing with a wheel this big and they hadn't driven a car. So I want the guy that's been in the man lift. I don't want the guy that, I operated a man lift 8 months ago, I'll operate for you. That's what gives you your proficiency. That's what makes you a better operator, to be in the equipment. So I know we're going to have some guys that occasionally, and here's what I don't like to hear, jump on. I need to be able to, there was an opportunity, I could have jumped on a forklift and done something the other day. We want to get away from that. We want to get away from, look, we hopefully will open up over here and we won't be as tight, but we understand equipment gets damaged. But how many times over the past 5 years has something been damaged when we have absolutely no clue who did it? And it's not because we needed to punish who did it. We need to know what happened. Maybe we can do something to prevent it next time. So this information doesn't come to us because we can never walk back into who was in the equipment, because you know what? We got 65 different options of who could have been in it. So we just trying to get a little tighter grip on it, fellas. Just bear with us. You know, if we need to have every person over here certified to operate every piece of equipment, my God, that's where we'll wind up. Who else? Yeah, fellas, it's a major expense, and shoot, I guess what, Steve, maybe 4 times a year we manage to hit a door somewhere, and that's just uncalled for. Put it all the way up, put it all the way down, and then we got nothing to worry about, man. These things we talk about, if we just do them, it's a done deal, fellas. Who else?
We got them all. Two plain looks doing for us 11 today, so it's gonna be a lot of moving, heavy lift. So you don't belong in the area, you don't have to be there. Just be mindful of what we're doing back there. We got the yard trucks gonna be back there. We got to load it up, put the load down, put it on the yard truck. So it's gonna be tedious. So.
How many lifts?
I think it's 4 of them.
4 of them. I know we're at critical lift. I know one of them was around 85%. So it's a critical lift, fellas. We're not pushing the cranes to their limit, but we decided as an organization when we get to a certain utilization percentage that we would go into a different mode. That requires filling out a critical lift plan. That requires taking some physical measurements, making sure we got our ducks in a row. And so that'll be taking place over there. If you got to go over there, just be aware they're going to have a wide berth for those 2 cranes over there. They'll have the truck in over there. It's going to be real tight. Just be aware of your surroundings if you're over there. Anybody else? Piping looks pretty close to going in the ground. It was pressure tested yesterday, so we ought to be done with that process here pretty soon. Good job to everybody that's been working on that and everything else on the yard, fellas. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.